everyone, welcome back to my channel. It's been a while since I've uploaded a video. I apologize for that. I'm a horrible YouTuber, I know. But this new format that I'm kind of going to, it's basically what I'm working on in art. Last year I worked on all like digital art, which were illustrations like this one that took 20 to 30 hours to complete. This is a Lobo Harley Quinn illustration. But my new drawings are this year's focus, because last year was just digital art. This year's focus is sequential art. I'm still doing digital art because it's just so much faster and efficient, especially for sequential art for me, and it's just something I'm really enjoying doing. I might try, getting back to my paper sketchbooks and stuff like that, but as of right now, I can't really see a benefit to it. I really like the artwork I'm producing, and I feel like for comic books, graphic novels, sequential stuff, it's going to be way more efficient. And I just like the look of the style. It's very fresh, very just has a lot of life to it, because I'm not being overly critical of each stroke. I'm not painstakingly, drawing each line. It's very fluid and just, like I said, fresh. So I like that. I like the look. So from now on, or at least going forward for the immediate future, working on sequential art, you'll see a style really similar to this one that I did for this Ninja Girl. One cool thing about doing it digitally too is I can kind of, since Procreate, the program I'm working in, records automatically, I can show you like step by step how I drew each drawing, which is kind of cool. So like with this drawing, you can see I just draw the center line to get the kind of flow of the body, and then I block in, kind of just block in the form. And I feel like going fast and keeping it fresh like this, like, really just creates a better drawing. I just really like the way they turn out. So with this one, you can see once I get the kind of the shape that I'm going for, the form figured out, then I block in where my light source is really roughly, like with just dark shadows. And then from there, I can just add details with both subtractive drawing, where I use the eraser to remove like highlighted spots and stuff like that. It really gives you a really nice round form that has a real strong light source when you work negatively like that, I feel like. And so I really like the way that looks. So this first drawing, just kind of a quick Ninja Girl. I really like her pose, and I really like the movement of this drawing. It's got some really nice jagged edges, which contrast that really straight sword line that kind of goes through the body right there. And then a lot of times when working like this, like I said, working subtractively, so drawing this hard line across her body, and then instead of drawing another line to define the outer edge of the sword, I just erased a straight line right across it. There's no line that defines that, but it looks right. So I feel like it's kind of a cool thing. This is a kind of knight versus a giant monster, kind of fun drawing. This one, I added a little bit of a background tint to it, and you can see I added real subtle white, but again, not getting overly, tight with things, just keeping it real loose and fresh. I like that a lot. We'll go to the video so you can kind of see how this one came to life. So at first I was just messing around with a different pose, and then I kind of did this one that I liked real, and I wasn't even sure what I was drawing here yet, so I had no idea I was going to draw the knight. And then I thought, oh, this would be kind of a cool scene where this thing's a huge monster, and I draw the knight in there. But you can really see, like, once I start adding in the shadows, how it really takes form. The other cool thing about working digitally is right here, I like the way he looks, but I just feel like his body doesn't look immense enough, so I shrink his head down a little bit. Working digitally, like on a comic or stuff, you can get things exactly the way you want them, versus if you're working with pencils and stuff, it's really hard to like change things on the fly like that. Working digitally, you can change anything you want at any time. Colors, just even the form, anything. And working with pencils, yeah, you can erase and stuff, But once you get to a point where you're like, yeah, I'm pretty happy with it, and you move on to the next part of the drawing, and you get to a finished point, you're like, oh man, I wish I had changed that. Well, with digital, you know, even though you have a finished drawing in front of you, you can just go back and change it still, even at the final stage of the illustration. So this is kind of like a ninja girl fighting a demon, like a vampire or something like that. She's chopping its head off. It's pretty cool. A lot of dynamic movement in this one. Just check out the initial sketch. This one I changed quite a bit just to get the movement that I wanted. Like, I even changed the entire angle of the characters right here because I felt like it was too vertical at this point and I wanted it more at an angle, so I just rotated everything. Again, that's a really nice advantage to working digitally. And this one I messed around with adding some colors and stuff like that. This is definitely a very different style than the previous digital art. This is more of a pen and ink style. At the end of this, I'll show you what pen and stuff I used in Procreate, so you can kind of get an idea of what I was actually using. So this next illustration is Wolverine. I want to do a comic book character. Again, really strong theatrical light sources on this one. And you can see I just start them out real fresh. I don't even erase these little lines and put them on a different layer or anything. I just draw right over the top of them and leave them in there because I just like the texture that it kind of adds to everything. I like how loose it is. So it has that very pen and ink loose quality to it that I just really like right now. This illustration is probably one of my better illustrations that I've done, which is funny because these are only taking like, I don't know, 30 minutes, hour, something like that. Nothing more. They're really fast, and I like the way they're turning out. This is illustration of, so like I said, I'm working on sequential art for an overall story, and this is some characters from that story. I kind of have some ideas, some really fleshed out ideas actually at this point for a sci-fi about 20 years from now, 30 years from now. I'm reading a book called The Future of Humanity, and I'm really into, you know, what Elon Musk is doing and NASA and stuff like that. And I've always loved sci-fi. Sci-fi, I feel like, is where my passion for what I would create a story around would lie. Just because I like the potential that humans have. That's what really intrigues me as far as creativity goes. So this story will kind of go along that line. But these are a couple of characters that might make their way into that story. This is a character I'm calling Locat, and then my main character doesn't really have a name I've settled on yet. But you can kind of see working on different, like right here I had his arm up there and I'm like, that doesn't look right, it's not close enough, doesn't look relaxed enough. There's that one. This is kind of like a vampire character. All these characters will kind of be like cybernetically enhanced, stuff like that, but this is kind of like a, also genetically maybe, we'll see, but this is kind of like a vampire character. So she's supposed to be kind of pretty and then obviously scary. And then these are, I don't necessarily like the style of this one as far as for the comic book. I feel like it's a bit over the top for the story I'm looking at doing. The characters are just not somebody you'd see walking around. So my sci-fi story will be a little bit more believable in this, but this is kind of some sketches for some characters. He's got a Doritos head initially, but I changed that. This is kind of like a futuristic Mad Max style, a little bit, maybe Thunderdome or something. I do like her, though. I feel like that's kind of cool. I've always liked the idea of having some way to see in all directions. So this would be kind of a helmet with little mini cameras that maybe her brain can process like a lot more than just 2 points of view. I was watching The Bachelor with my wife, which means I was sketching. and she was watching it, and I would just complain about it. But this is kind of like a cool bird creature. This drawing is a good drawing to show just the flexibility. With this drawing, I just start out sketching. I didn't even know what I was going to draw at first, and then I thought it kind of looked like a bird beak, so it turned into a kind of weird bird creature. So, and then I added some color on this one after I got it kind of fleshed out, which, yeah, I feel like it's pretty cool concept illustration. This is Locat again from the story, and these are 3 different. I'm kind of getting a little further along with her, like what I actually want her to look like. So these are 3 different versions of what she might, you know, look like. This one, kind of like a punk rocker type girl. All of them kind of have that youthful kind of punk rock, a little aesthetic to them. I feel like I like this one a little bit more because I want her to be very intelligent, and I feel like this one kind of captures that a little bit more, but I'm not still 100% sure. I like the uniqueness of that one, the middle one, but you can let me know in the comments which one you like the best. But I'll show you kind of how I did these. I just do the initial pose first, and then kind of, so I get that initial form down, which is this right here. And this one I wasn't quite sure I was going to do multiple versions, so I would have, on future ones that I did, I would have probably stopped here and duplicated her. But on this one, I got a little further along, so then I just erased all the clothing that I did and worked over the top. And so you have 3 very unique concepts. But anyway, that's it for this sketchbook. Hope you guys like these illustrations, and I'm going to try and post these because these drawings, since I'm doing so many of them, I'll be able to do sketchbook updates or digital sketchbook updates more often. So anyway, that's the video. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you guys later.